What's going on, guys? Brad Messersmith from the Fantasy Golf Degenerates. I'm here today to talk about the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am and my expert model as shown on the fantasyfanatics.com. If you are not already a premium member, make sure to get over there and sign up to be able to access all of the tools that you're going to see today, including some more tools that you won't see today. I will put a link to that in the description of this video, so make sure to check that out. We are back. We had a pretty nice week last week. Hopefully some of you guys were able to cash in on the model. I know I had a roughly 25% ROI, so not too shabby there. Used it to get this fancy new haircut, as can be seen. Let's make this screen bigger. As can be seen here. Unfortunately, here at the Fantasy Fanatics, we do not have a haircut budget, so make sure to let Ryan know on Twitter that I'm going to need a haircut budget from here on out, so I can look fancy and pretty for you guys. No, obviously that's not why you came, so let's go ahead and dig right into it. I'll turn my face back to a small face, a small face of shame. So the key stats this week, we're going to be going pretty heavily on birdie or better percentage with a 4 weighting. The main reason for that is we've got 3 courses that we're being played at this week, similar to a couple weeks ago. We're going to have 3 guaranteed rounds for each one of our golfers, so we're not as worried about making the cut, and we're a bit more worried about scoring and making birdies. So birdie or better percentage is going to show up pretty big. DraftKings points gained in par 72 events is also showing up pretty heavily in the trends tool. You can access that as part of a premium feature under the golf tab. DraftKings points gained in average field events. This one qualifies as an average field. So we see a lot of trend there show up. That's going to also get a 4 rating. Dropping down a little bit, this is approaches from 100 to 125 yards. Again, shows up in the trends tool. Not something I'm really going to want to rule guys out as a result of, but definitely something that shows up, so it is in there. Strokes gained around the green, and then the last one is strokes differential field average, which we talked about the last couple of weeks, is a pretty good indicator of just general skill, kind of all around talent. And on a week where we're going to see 3 guaranteed rounds, I think having that in there is definitely relevant. So those are the stats. If you guys have any questions about that, make sure to reach out to me on Twitter. If you have any concerns, any other stats you want to see, you can always go in and customize your own model on the fantasyfanatics.com. So get over there. If you don't like mine, feel free to adjust. You can also download my exact model and under the expert models and look at it yourself. Take a look at all of the guys I like and don't like, and adjust as you see fit. You can even build lineups with that model. So make sure to get over there and check it out. It's been very good for a lot of people. So let's dive into a couple of the players. I'm going to scroll over here to the left and take a look. The first guy I want to talk about is actually ranked 3rd in the model. Justin Rose and Phil Mickelson are just above Jordan Spieth. Those two, I think, probably should not come as too much of a surprise. Both of them have pretty good course history, although Justin Rose, I think, only has 1 event played here, has a 6th place finish, if I'm not mistaken. So a couple of guys that don't surprise me to show up at the top of the model, probably a good indicator that we're seeing some guys like that show up at the top. Jordan Spieth, though, I think is a guy that I'm going to be on pretty heavily. I'm still not sure about his ownership percentage. It looks like I have him projected at about 27%. Still not sure where that realistically is going to land. That may get an adjustment before the end of the week. So make sure you guys let me know on Twitter or in the comments of this video where you think Jordan Spieth is going to end up ownership-wise, and we'll see how accurate you guys are. Dropping down a little bit, Sean O'Hare shows up very, very strongly in this model. He's been talked about a lot on Twitter amongst the experts, so to speak. Definitely someone who seems underpriced given his course history. Let's scroll over and take a look at what his course history does look like here. So he has 7 made cuts in 7 events. He has not necessarily finished way up high at all at this event. 16th place is his best finish in the last 7. I believe he has several more made cuts actually prior to 2010. If you guys want to take a look at that, you can go and customize that in your model as well. So either way, Sean O'Hare with his course history looks good. Kind of interesting to see him show up so highly in the model as well. And at 7,300, I don't think we're taking a lot of risk here, although I'm not sure he really has a whole lot of upside either. So something to keep in mind. I will be having some of him in GPPs, but will not be going all in. Webb Simpson has looked very, very good recently. His recent form coming off of a playoff loss to Hideki Bot, who can blame him. Definitely looks good coming into this event. I'm not sure really how well I think he fits in terms of his course history, but overall 6th in the model at 8,200 has been playing some very good, very solid, very good golf. I think he'll be somewhat popular in terms of ownership, but nothing that's going to scare me off of him too much. Brant Snedeker at 10K, I think is a guy who, we'll see, could go somewhat overlooked. He's a 2-time champion here at this event, so probably not going to fly under too many radars, but definitely a guy I like a lot at 10,000. Should be a good option here this week. I have Pat Perez as a fade. We still don't know a whole lot about Pat Perez in terms of his injury. He did withdraw last week. Scares me a little bit knowing that he was injured all of last year. Certainly has been playing good golf since he came back, but the injury is a little bit of a concern there for me. Dustin Johnson is somebody who I am going to be rostering a lot of in GPPs. Same with Jon Rahm, really. Dustin Johnson, after his miscut 2 weeks ago, I think is going to be a little bit lower owned than we're used to seeing. But he's the 4th ranked golfer in the world. Definitely can win here. Has the stats that make sense on this course. Going to be a guy I roster a lot of, hoping that people will be jumping off of him as a result of the miscut. And Jon Rahm is becoming the GOAT. Very, very popular. I'm not really sure what his ownership looks like. He has not been talked about as much as I thought he would be early on in the week. So I had him projected as the highest golfer in the field at 37%. I think I may bump that down, but expect his ownership to be fairly high. That being said, I'm going to be jumping on Jon Rahm in a big way regardless. Probably the golfer I like to win this event most. Although that may come as a bit of a surprise with some of the big names above him. Dropping down even a little bit more, Adam Hadwin has just been on fire this year. He's kind of just a recent form guy for me. Does not project out all that well or all that badly in the model. He's 20th ranked in the model. Is certainly priced well below that. Course history does not look too good, but a golfer that has been playing well enough to have a serious amount of upside and will be in my lineups. JJ Spawn is a Web.com tour grad that Adrian Nelson really likes to talk about. He's our Web.com expert. Make sure to give him a follow on Twitter. He is talking a lot about this JJ Spawn, and he shows up 31st in the model, so it definitely piques my interest a little bit, especially having finished as highly as he did recently the last couple weeks. So somebody I'm going to be jumping on board here, and hopefully it won't be too late, and we can try and snag him when he wins. A little bit further down, Patrick Reed is a guy who really, really surprises me at only 8,300. I feel like he's probably the lowest of the top tier of golfers. It sort of drops off after Patrick Reed's name. I'm not sure how popular he will be, but he's been playing some really, really solid golf this year. Course history is very good. And statistically, I think he fits the course okay. Although he's ranked 41st in my model, it's a golfer I'm going to be bumping up just based on how well he's been playing recently and how much I think he can win. So we'll keep dropping down here. There's a couple guys here that I want to talk about. I'm going to completely ignore my model when it comes to Jimmy Walker. Really, really elite course history here, obviously. That's no secret. Statistically does not really make a whole lot of sense on paper, but the fact that he is coming off of back-to-back miscuts, he's one of the higher-priced golfers and is going to be probably under 10% owned as a result of his recent miscuts. I think this is one of the most elite GPP plays in the field. I'm going to be taking a lot of Jimmy Walker. I don't typically go 100% on anybody, but if I did play that style of GPP, I would probably be going 100% on Jimmy Walker. I really, really like him to bounce back. If not this week, it's going to happen soon, and I'm going to be on him when it happens. A little bit further down, these are some guys I'm not so sure about. Ryan Palmer's price sort of stood out to me at 7,000. I think he's a guy who typically plays well early in the season and on the West Coast. Somebody that, again, I'm not really so sure about. I'm not going to be going all in on, but at 7K, it probably doesn't hurt us too much if he doesn't find his way into the top 15. But if he does, and you have something like 10 or 12%, you give those lineups a really good shot to to finish highly in GPPs. Alex Chetka actually projects out really well in my other analysis, some of the regression stuff I do. He projects out pretty well and seems a little bit underpriced at 6,700. So not a guy I think has a ton of upside, but somebody I am going to be getting on. You may have heard Bo Hostler's name tossed around quite a bit recently. He is not a guy I'm going to be jumping on at this point in time. Certainly seems to be a skilled golfer, but somebody who does not make sense at an event like this. I'm a little bit concerned about some of these guys who are new to this event just because of the circus that sort of surrounds the Pro-Am. A little bit concerning there. Bo Hostler is in that boat. I think the only one that I'm really not concerned about is Jon Rahm, just because of his elite talent and his ability to have played well in big stages so far. So that being said, if you want to take a look at any other guys closer, or if you see anything that looks like a mistake, make sure to reach out to me on Twitter at BMSDFS and become a premium subscriber at thefantasyfanatics.com so that you can get my GPP model and make your own lineups using all of my analysis. Other than that, that's going to do it for this week. We will catch you guys next time.